Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification. Today we're talking about Put a Ring on It, Season 4, Episode number 9. We open up with the couple still talking to Dr. Stacy, and you see everybody's crying. Jasha is there crying, and he's emotional about, things that he has done or the lack of things that he do for Joya. And we see Dr. Stacy get up, and even Dr. Stacy feel like she got some tears in her eyes because she comes over there and consoles Jasha and Joya, and she tells both of them, "I rock with you guys. I rock with Joya. I rock with Jasha." She sees their growth in their relationship, and she wants them to continue to do very well. And she know that Jasha does love her, right? Love does love Joya. He wants to make sure that Jasha continues to do the small things. And she asked him, what will be comfortable for you? Whether it be bringing flowers, 4 times a month or things of that nature. And she basically told Joya, look, tell him what will make it comfortable for you, will make him romantic for you, so he can start doing the little things and not having to do the big extravagant things that he has done in the past. So she go ahead and tell Jasha that, they will talk about her love language and how things would transpire moving forward. Dr. Stacy tells them that there will be no more new people introduced. There will be no more dates. So therefore, the people that don't have dates will start working on their relationship with their mate, and those that do have dates will continue to go on their dates. And that will be Jasmine will go out with Josie one more time, and then we will for the second time, and then you see Catherine who goes out with Marcus for the fourth time. That's right. She's going out with Marcus for the fourth time because we'll get to a little bit later. Catherine is torn between what she wants to do and how she wants to deal with it. Let's deal with Joya and Jasha. We see Joya and Jasha go. Joya and Joya and Jasha go out on a good date. What he does, he brings her to this nice house, right? He brings her to this house, beautiful, beautiful house, where he has laid out for her dinner. Table spread, rose petals on the table. She's very excited. Like, this is what I've been talking about. This is what what I've been asking you to do. It's not extravagant, but it's thoughtful. He also had hired a chef to come in and cook for them. And the chef cooks some of her favorite meals, some salmon with a little Jamaican flair, some seasoning, a Jamaican seasoning with some shrimp on top, with some rice. It looks lovely. It looks great. The chef also has a strawberry cake for them for later on and for dinner. And she goes on to talk about how the advice that Dr. Stacy gave her when they met earlier. Her and Dr. Stacy met a little bit earlier in the episode, and she tells Jasha that Dr. Stacy basically told her to go with the flow. Stop trying to rush this man into your timeline. Stop trying to rush this man to have a baby with you. He loves you. He cares for you. But go with the flow. Move in a place where it is comfortable for him, and not putting demands on him and pushing him away to do so. Right? Stop pushing him away. Allow him to move in the flow. You guys sit down, have a discussion, have a conversation, come up with a plan. But the plan, you shouldn't be controlling everything. You should allow it to go with the flow. And that was one thing that really opened them up and opened the relationship and helped them in this episode, because when they get to the dinner and they're having this conversation, they talk about all the growth that they made so far during the show. Jasha talk about how difficult it was to see Joya go out with other men. They talk about the couples date where they both was working out, how difficult that was for her to see him basically stretching Brittany. And they begin to discuss how they can move forward. And Jasha says, look, I will go with the flow. The time frame was 4 or 5 years, and before you 40, he said, I can see us having a baby way before then. I can see us having me being married to you, and us being married. He didn't use the word married, but me being engaged to you prior to then. And I really love you. I really care for you. And so they have a great chemistry, great relationship, to the point where the dinner was so good, she's like, I might even give you some. We can go home and work on this baby tonight. Well, at least practice anyway. It was cute. He talked about her dress that she's in. It was cute to see them connect, and that they didn't want to go out on dates with anybody else. It'll be surprising to me if Jasha never asked Joya to go out, to get married. Right? If Jasha doesn't ask Joya to marry him, I'll be shocked and I'll be surprised. I think this couple both can actually work. They both have the same taste, the same likes. They own one accord. The energy is together now, and they both learned in this process. So it is good to see that Joya and Jasha had a great date, and they reconnected, and they're doing well. We go to Josie and Jasmine. Jasmine goes out again with Josie, and she tells Josie basically, look, I appreciate you. You're nice. You're comfortable. You're a good guy. I like your swag, but I'm going to stick with Zay. Right? Zay's my man. I'm going to rock with him. He's doing better in the communication department. He can do a little bit better, but I've talked to Zay, and I want to work with you, and I want you to help me in my company, right? We want to partner together. I want you to help me build my business up. I can't remember what Josie does, but he works with businesses to help them improve. And so her and Josie have become good friends, and she's mentioning when they got with Dr. Stacy too, you know, she realized that you can be have friends that are of the same sex and not be romantically involved. And Josie's one of those type guys. So again, her and Zay gonna stay together and rock there. We see Catherine go out with Marcus for the 4th time. And Marcus is laying it on thick, man. He's giving her everything she wants. He's telling her how beautiful she is, how he cares for her, how he wants to be with her, how she should drop Ricky and leave Ricky alone and be with him. But he's gonna let the decision be hers, right? He talks about how the chemistry they have together is wonderful, and Catherine sees it as well. Right, Catherine is torn. Do I be with Rick? Do I stay with Ricky, who has nothing? We've been together for 10 years, and he hasn't shown me. I've known him for 10 years. We've been together 10 years. He hasn't shown me anything. I moved from Dallas back to Atlanta. I left my clientele, all that, to come here, and it seemed like we haven't moved. I'm kind of basically what she said. I'm living in the same house with his family. I'm living. We haven't improved on our relationship. There's no intimacy that's going on. What am I doing? And Marcus is like, look, I'll give you everything you need. Now, I believe Marcus is landing on thick. I'm not 100% sure if I believe everything that Marcus is kicking. Sound like he's giving her what she wants to hear. I don't know if her and Marcus would be good together after the show. But again, she is torn between the good conversation, the good relationship, the attention, him listening, him giving her what he needs, the entrepreneurial spirit. She don't have to worry about taking care of nobody else's kids. She ain't got to worry about baby mama drama. She ain't got to worry about none of that stuff if she decides to go with Marcus, or she can stay with Ricky and do all those things, deal with living in the same house with his family. The baby mama, him spending the night on her couch, him not being able to drive right now for whatever reason, for him not growing. So she has some decisions to make in that aspect of their relationship. And we see a little bit later. We'll see a little bit later when she's talking with Dr. Stacy. That's how the episode ends, with Catherine crying and said, "I know who I want to be with." Now, whichever way she goes, is she going to go with Ricky or she's going to go with Marcus? We have to find out till next week, which I'm kind of like, why to put a ring on it will make us wait until next week, right, to figure out who she want to go with. They gave us the preview last week. To me, don't give me the preview of her trying to make a decision, and then give me that preview is the very last scene from this episode, and I got to wait another week to figure out who Catherine want to be with. I guess, I don't know. That's what they're doing to make us come back. Is what it is, right? We also saw in this episode Ricky go to talks with his dad. They go out and have a conversation, which I was kind of confused too. I'm like, if he lives with his dad, why are they going out to have a conversation at a restaurant where they could come and have a conversation at the house? And maybe that's I was confused, all right? But anyway, Ricky says his dad is his best friend, and they have good conversations. And his dad gave him some advice about him and Catherine. Dad told him, look, just because you argue with someone doesn't mean you dislike them, doesn't mean you don't love them, doesn't mean you don't care for them. And I'm like, that's some great advice, because sometimes in the arguments, people think because you argue, people don't love you. That's not the case. You just have a disagreement. And we know that him and Ricky and Catherine argue a lot about a lot of things, but I don't see Ricky trying to change. I don't see Ricky growth. I don't see Ricky's growth in this season of Married at First Sight. Put a ring on it. I don't see Ricky growing in this episode. I don't see where Ricky has grown through Dr. Stacy and none of this. I see Ricky being at the same spot he was at the beginning, not giving Catherine the love and respect and the intimacy that she needs. But Dad gave Ricky some great advice. Hopefully Ricky can pick up on it and move forward. Even when the men went out to put the tuxedos, right? Jasha and Zay, and Ricky all went out to try on tuxedos. Ricky was like, hey, I've been here before. I tried this on before. I've done this before. I think I look good in the tux. But I'm not 100% sure if me and Catherine already get to that spot. Jasha was like, yo, he's ready to go there. They say, he's there, a little apprehensive about what him and Jasmine wants to do, but he thinks that he's ready to go there as well. But Ricky, in this instance, Ricky and Catherine has a lot of issues. They have a lot of problems. They got a lot of situations. Even Jasmine says that when she was at the venue with Catherine and Joya, and the ladies were talking and going through their discussion, and she came to Catherine. She said, "We're not friends like that, but I would advise you to wait. That you and Ricky have some things to wait on. That you and Ricky have some things to work out." Now, I'm like, okay, is this engagement to go get married? Or this is an engagement to get married. Put a ring on it. All he has to do is put a ring on it. They can work on some of the issues, but we all see it. Ricky and Catherine are not, they're not at that place where he can even ask her to marry him. He doesn't have a lot of things established. She has some angry issues, some daddy issues that she needs to work out. We watched the past episodes, some issues that she has with abandonment or being alone, being respected. So there's some things that she has to deal with that I don't know if Ricky's really ready to handle. Catherine has to be able to get out of that house with Ricky and his family in order for her to grow. So she has some self-improvement to work on. I hope Dr. Stacy tells him that. Even if Ricky does ask Catherine to marry him, I hope she says no for the fact that she needs to work on herself. Not because she's going to go with Marcus, but she needs to work on herself. So we see Jasmine breaks down, and when the women are together, Jasmine breaks down and says she wishes Zay would have asked her to marry him back when he did the promise ring situation, because her dad has passed away. She really wanted her dad to see her get married. She really wanted to see her dad see her be engaged. She really wanted her dad to walk her down the aisle, and she's feeling kind of emotional regret for the fact that, and being mad at Zay, like, you could have did this, and you should have did this when my dad was alive, and he would have been able to be there for me. You could have had a conversation with him. She wanted Zay to have a conversation with her father and do it the traditional way, asking her dad, "Can I take your daughter's hand for marriage?" And because he dragged his feet, he wasn't there yet. He'd rather give her a promise ring. Her dad passed away and he won't be able to see her get married, and that's one of the emotional things for her when it was at the venue. The venue spot was very beautiful, but all the emotions came up in her at that time, and she was like, "Look, I wish my dad was here." And that was something that was big for her. Even when they got to Dr. Stacy, she was emotional about, her father and how he would love to see her daughter get married. And one thing I can say about Zay that he did when she got emotional is Zay held her hand. He comforted her. Now from the past few episodes at the beginning, that wasn't Zay's MO, right? He wasn't showing that type of emotion. Zay is the same one who let his friend talk crazy to her, right? And didn't step up or do anything. But now, through the end of this process, we see Zay stepping up and giving her the comfort that she needs, which shows growth and improvement for Zay. Zay's one of those guys, and he said it when he was meeting with the men, that he's been doing everything Dr. Stacy has asked him to do. And sometimes as a man, you just need some guidance and direction because you haven't had anyone who's been able to give you guidance and direction. And I think Zay, by getting the guidance and direction from Dr. Stacy, has been trying to implement and begin to try all those things that his woman wants, from listening to communicating properly to being present, not physically being present, but being emotionally present as well. And you can see the growth in him and Jasmine's relationship. So kudos for Zay for doing his job. So this episode ends with all the couples meeting with Dr. Stacy. Once again, it ends with Catherine crying, saying she knows who she wants. Jasha and Joya talk about the beautiful and romantic time that they had on their date and how they've reconnected, and Zay was comforting Jasmine. So we see next week on Put a Ring on It, who gets a ring, right? Who gets proposed to. We see some of the men speaking with the fathers of the lady. I think you see Zay talking to, Jasha talking to Joya's dad. And so we get to see how this all unfolds. We see Dr. Stacy talking to Ricky, saying that, you know what, you guys may not be ready for marriage, even if you stay together. Depends on what Catherine's decision is. We'll see next week. So let me know what you thought about this episode of Put a Ring on It. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and we'll catch you down the road. Appreciate you for rocking with me, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.